Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at property address 3715 Madrona Drive here in Newburgh. We are located at the front of the house. I describe everything as if you are standing in the street facing the front door of the home. So we are over at the front left corner of the house here, and this cleanout sticks way out of the ground. You can't miss the thing. 4-inch ABS cleanout. We're about 3 feet in from the front left corner of the home here. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water will be running here in just a second. I just had access into the house a moment ago. I just flushed the toilet there before the homeowner left. So I'm going to start out with the line dry here, and then I'll introduce some water to the line in just a second. But we're dropping into PVC pipe immediately upon access. Line transitions immediately over to 4-inch PVC. And right out of the gate, my camera is upside down at the moment, but that is an absolutely spotless clean flow line. Remarkably clean looking sewer line right there. I mean, I scope new construction lines. I mean, I've got a new construction house right now I'm doing. This will be my 4th scope I do on it tomorrow, if that gives you an idea. So to see a line this clean that has been lived in for this long is just incredible. And what keeps your line this way, by and large, is one living habit, and that is not putting cooking oil and grease down the pipe. After 14 years of doing this, almost 25,000 scopes now, and I've done a lot of drain cleaning over the years, I have become a very big stickler on grease buildup. It's more concerning to me than a lot of structural issues are, like bellies, offset joints, some of these things you hear a lot about during real estate transactions. Not that they can't potentially cause problems. What I found over the years is that in a lot of cases it's a coupling effect of thick grease buildup coupled with a belly where you get, stuff slowing down for multiple reasons, and then someone finishes the job by flushing a big wad of paper towels or something fun like that down the sewer line. So anyway, that's why it's very important. It's about the only thing you can do as a homeowner to maintain your sewer line. Otherwise, it's at the will of nature. It's buried underground. Not a lot you can do. Got some little thing sticking off this pipe joint right here. I think a lot of that there is just a rough saw cut. It looks like a bunch of plastic burrs with a little bit of, what I can tell here, that does not appear to be a root. Looks like debris. Could be just a plastic burr from a rough saw cut. As you can see, the plastic burr sticking out there at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The little white thing sticking down. In reality, that's the top of the pipe there where that's hanging from. My camera's upside down right now. Likely, it looks like it's either just debris or, again, another longer plastic burr. I'm going to go locate, though, really quick here. The city of Newburgh, unless this is some private neighborhood or something like that, does take responsibility out in the roadway. So, and we might also be in some kind of party line configuration that's very commonplace in Newburgh. I push out here a little bit further. That Y connection there originally, when I ran into it, I figured we would hit some kind of main lateral. But where I'm locating that was kind of over. I was out in the bark dust planter just before the sidewalk, kind of straight out from the front door. I'm just not entirely sure why the Y connection is there. Unless you've got like storm system tied in or something like that. Sometimes you just get a secondary clean out. All right, just went and located the camera head there out on Madrona Drive. So as you face the house from the street here, we're crossing from the about the front left corner of the house. Makes its way over to kind of the bark dust planter area, straight out from the front door, kind of near the sidewalk. And right about in that area there is where we run into that Y connection. The other thing to be aware of is party lines in Newburgh are very common. It's a completely normal thing. And it's allowed. So if you're coming from somewhere like Multnomah County, for instance, that's one of those things that starts getting people a little nervous and worked up. Out here, it's commonplace and allowed. Just about every new construction house you'll see out here has a party line, and many of the homes going back to about the I see them even a lot on late 80s houses here. Look at that. That's about the only scrap of debris in the whole entire sewer line right there. That little tiny piece of toilet paper there. Remarkable. What I am going to do really quick here, just to try and rule out that what this Y connection is, or do my darndest to. And the concrete pipe there is in good shape, drains very nicely. Nothing wrong with that at all. So yeah, my camera flips. So what we're actually doing, we're making a turn here. Until this point, the line is crossing at about a 45-degree angle towards the sidewalk area. Right here, it hits the Y and then straightens out and shoots off straight out towards the road. A little bit of standing water right here. It's very short-lived, extremely short-lived little spot. Zero debris buildup. I really wouldn't expect to see any there anyway. And whatever this little dangly item is here, I really can't make much of it. I know some of that is a little bit of what looks like human waste or debris there that's kind of hung up on that little thing. From what I can tell here, it appears to be some kind of debris. It's very hard to tell though. The line is so dang clean. You know, if there were to be something like a possible potential root, could it be one? Theoretically, yes. There's just not a lot to go off of. Like if someone were to have just run a drain cleaning machine through the sewer line, for instance, to minimize the look of things. You know, sometimes you can cut so much evidence back and so much stuff away that it's hard to verify what the heck you've got. So, a little bit of a question mark at that joint there. I'm going to go locate one more time here just to verify where we were currently sitting. Alright, so I have put some markings down here. You'll see if you go and, you know, stand out in the street kind of near where the mailbox is, stare back at the house. There's a little planter spot there just before the bark dust, or I'm sorry, in the bark dust, I apologize. Just before the sidewalk. You'll see a white Y marking. That's actually a two-part marking there. I'm marking both the Y connection as well as this joint here that's a little bit suspect. I'm getting around 4 foot 8 inches deep. It is in the proximity of multiple different, both a bush as well as a tree. You know, about 4 foot 8 inches deep. Woody bushes as well as trees are more than capable of getting down to those depths and putting the root through the line. This is a hard one. The standing wire there is very minor. That's not anything I'm terribly concerned about at all. It's a very short-lived spot. Once you hook through there, I mean, it's all of maybe 2 feet in length. You're working with barely a 1/4 inch of water here. My bigger concern is kind of putting this stuff all together. You know, has the line been preemptively cleaned to minimize things? Maybe that's why it's so clean. And you might have the remnants of a root sticking out through there. First and foremost, what I would find out, being that we are right here at this juncture, I'm not able to make contact with the neighbor next door to the right. If I were to wager a guess as to who might be tying in here, that's my assumption anyway, is this is some kind of party line connection, which would not be weird or unexpected at all in Newburgh. Would likely be the neighbor to the right. But I would contact the city and find out if they take responsibility in that location there. In the event that is a root, it's a very hard one to discern. It could be some debris. Those little things that look like plastic burrs could also theoretically be root tips that have been trimmed back. They are roots. They look like ones that have potentially been cut. It's a hard one. There's not a lot there to go off of. We don't have any debris whatsoever in this line. It is so clean to give us any kind of evidence of, you know, whether or not something ever stopped up there in the past, something of that nature. So that's what makes it difficult. As it sits right now, we have good flow of the main. A little bit of a question mark there at about 38, 39 feet right around the Y. And I will notate on the report from about 30, it might be to 40 feet. From maybe 38 to 40 feet, you've got about a 1/4 inch of standing water. That is way too minor, in my opinion, to require repair work. But I am a little more concerned now, just seeing all that stuff put together there, where it is relative to the tree and bushes there. You got a bush parked directly on top of this location and a tree within probably about 5 feet. So that's my concern there. So if you can get a hold of the city, get some kind of answer on as to where they take responsibility for the sewer line. The city out here does indeed take responsibility for the line. Off the top of my head, I believe it's in the right-of-way, which is very near where that location is. And generally speaking, once you reach a Y connection, if it is indeed a party Y, my understanding is that's generally always in the right-of-way, and typically from that point on, you're into city responsibility. This particular spot here, being that joint is right before the Y connection, it's a little harder to say. So that's why I put the marking down there. If the city is able to come out and take a look or something like that to verify whether that would fall into city responsibility or not. In the event, if you were to come back and scope this thing, a year from now, if roots start growing back to that joint, whose responsibility is it to take care of? So otherwise, the rest of the line here all has good flow. All appears to be in good condition, superbly clean. But it's all those things put together right now that I'm kind of wondering if maybe this thing got cleaned recently. It's hard to say. Not like I haven't seen lines this clean before. It's just fairly rare to see that level of cleanliness. But as we sit here today, we have good flow of the main lateral. Line is functioning properly at this time.